Stormtroopers! And welcome to the 501st Com Chatter. I'm Chloe.
I'm Will. Welcome back to another episode. The last Andor episode breakdown today.
Yep.
Oh, it feels weird not having any Star Wars again.
But the next episode we'll be breaking down Tales of the Underworld.
Yes.
We just thought we'd get the Andor ones out of the way and then talk about something different.
Yeah. Because otherwise it'd be like you're talking about Andor, then you talk about this, then back to Andor. But we thought we'd just get Andor done in one go. Final 3 episodes. I think what a way for it to finish as well. Really, Tony Gilroy, I think, has done a fantastic job this series. Just the whole storytelling and the connections to, the future of Star Wars from Andor's story. So
yeah, I think he definitely did a really good job on this season, like connecting everything together. Obviously, it's all got to tie into like Rogue One and the originals, so it's all sort of come together.
Yep.
And I think he's done a good job.
Very good. So we're going to crack on with the episode. Again, we're sorry that it's like a very sporadic schedule for when the episodes come out. We're just very busy in terms of like we've got a lot to sort out. So at the minute it's all taking a bit of a priority. There isn't any new products. There's no new Legos. There's no new Hot Toys, new Funkos yet.
Well, I mean, there has been a lot recently because obviously we've had all the May the 4th sort of releases and stuff, but nothing new that I've seen since our last episode when we talked about Hot Toys, which there was quite a lot of Hot Toys to be fair.
Yes.
But yeah.
I think there's probably going to be a lot upcoming in the sort of summer. So keep an eye on for that because that'll give us plenty to talk about. So shall we crack on with it?
Yep.
So before we begin with the actual episode's breakdown, we have these 2 picks to show, which is this one, which is an Easter egg from the latest episodes of Andor. And here you can see a Gungan skull, which was in Luthen's shop. Now, it doesn't look like anything particularly special, does it? It's just a Gungan, got a bit of gold in it. But obviously, as you can read from what it says on the screen, the little sigil that is like being branded onto the skull is Darth Revan's Sith Empire. Is this our first proof that Revan is canon now? Finally,
maybe.
Surely, right? Surely, it's his emblem of the Starforge. Like
maybe instead of Jar Jar being Darth Jar Jar, he became part of the Revan clan. Maybe.
But how would he? He was already, because the Revan lot's like 100.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe there was like a distant relative of his that was called Jar Jar as well.
Or they just used the like sort of Gungans as like a sort of a slave workforce, which probably would have made sense. But that is again still quite cool.
It is cool, like the gold on it though. It's like sort of night trooper.
It's a bit weird because it's obviously a skull and it's got it on, but it's like it's a really interesting way to put like that sigil is 100% Revan Sith Empire. So wow, could this be we're getting more Knights of the Old Republic stuff?
I mean, that whole like Luthen's shop, there's so many Easter eggs in it, and I know we've talked about them before, but
Padme's headpiece, Starkiller's armor.
There's 2 separate Padme headpieces. So there's the one that's like got the red and gold, and then there's the one that she wears when she goes back to Naboo in episode 2. There's like the I can't remember what they're called, but those things that like Hera has, and then Thrawn takes it from her.
Yeah,
The like family heirloom piece, and then what else was there?
There was the holocron and Sith holocron
Yeah.
and the Jedi holocron.
There's the like world between worlds, like part of the wall with the hands was like a fist, and there's that. And
some Beskar armor. Like, there's lots.
Yes.
There's lots.
And there's also little nods to Indiana Jones as well.
Yes.
So there's like these sort of like amber stones. They're on a shelf, which you actually see in like the final episodes. And then there's these like, what are they called? Like carbonate.
Yeah.
But they're like smaller ones. And you got Indiana Jones whip. And then what looks like sort of dinosaur feet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Jurassic Park. I mean, in Star Wars, you've got plenty of like reptilian creatures, so it could be like Rancor or anything, you know.
Yeah.
But I think they generally just put it in just to have something that the fans talk about.
Yeah.
You know, like the whole like Star Killer like
Armor.
outfit. They have the like Mandalorian outfits. Plo Koon's mask, that sort of thing. There's so much little Easter eggs in that room. So, you know, pause it, and you're like, oh my god, Dedra stood next to Padme's headpiece.
Yes.
Whether it is Padme's, we don't know.
True. Speaking of Sarkula, you just reminded me.
Mm-hmm.
If you get the chance, check out Sideshow's little video that they've done with Sam Witwer, checking out the new Star Killer hot toy, because it's really cool, and he picks up on details that even I didn't notice.
Yeah.
So he has on his belt Vader's lightsaber, Darth Maul's lightsaber, and Coda's lightsaber as well. I was like, what little details to add. And I like the little Maul one as well, because it's like, it's Sam Witwer.
Yeah. He's like, guys, you're fighting me against me.
Yeah. That was quite cool. And he's like, obviously you all know he's like a proper nerd about it. So he's like, oh yeah, I really like that bit there. That fits with what happened, sort of thing. Go check it out. It's so good. Another little thing that this is from the latest episodes anyway, but cool little nod to THX 1138, which is the first thing George Lucas did. Just a cool little nod to it, isn't it?
His first little short film. And also in his film American Graffiti, on one of the cars, I think it was George Lucas's car, it was like a yellow Deuce Coupe, and the number plate on it was THX 1138 as well.
There you go.
So I don't know if that's how he got it. I don't know. But yeah.
Maybe, but like, I think it's just a cool nod to the creator. So yeah, shall we begin?
Yes. I'll get my notes up.
Oh dear. We got that thing where the picture is tiny.
Oh no.
It'll do.
It'll do.
It'll
You
do.
guys get the picture. So obviously we start off with Luthen meeting Lorne on Coruscant. Obviously we know from previous episodes that Lorne is Luthen's little... Lonnie? I don't know.
Lonnie. It's Lonnie Young,
I was
mate.
saying Lonnie.
It's not Lorne.
Lonnie, I don't know.
It's Lonnie.
I
Lonnie
think it
Young.
depends on the accent, doesn't it? Like,
Lonnie.
it's how Americans say it, Lonnie. I don't know.
But also saying that we do, so it starts the episode with the little flashing on the desk.
Oh, yeah.
So it's flashing on the desk. Clea sort of realizes Lonnie's pressed the big red button, like, I need help.
Yep.
And then we see Luthen putting on his rings and doing his hair,
wig.
getting himself all sorted.
In fairness, the wig looks so real. Like, I feel like if this was a real life thing, he wouldn't have had a wig that good. Because it looks like his actual hair. Do you know what I mean? But like, you know, props to the props department for doing his hair.
Yeah.
So he meets up with Lonnie on Coruscant. And Lonnie says she's looking for a team to be put together for an operation on Coruscant. I've had Dedra Miro's code cert for a year now. I'm burned. They will be on me soon enough. They will have my wife and daughter tucked away. The Emperor's energy plan was a lie. It was to cover a strip mine the planet made for some mineral they need. So, clearly he's found out a lot of information about what the Empire are doing on Gorman.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Luthen's like, oh my gosh, it's a lot of info.
Luthen's like, this is what we wanted.
Yeah,
This is what we needed.
This intel. He tells Luthen they were looking for kyber crystals on Jeddah, which obviously sort of links into Rogue One. And then Lonnie asks Luthen, where will you take us? So Luthen's a bit like, do I give away our location? And he does, surprisingly. I think me and you sort of looked at each other and were like,
eh?
Huh?
Eh?
He's told him Yavin?
But we see why.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry.
There you go.
That's why.
So clearly we see that Lonnie has been shot by Luthen, surprisingly.
But also it's not really surprising. It's like he's tying up loose ends.
Yeah. I mean, you can't have an informant for too long, I don't think, without.
It was for me like as soon as Luthen was like, Yavin, and he was like, where's that? I'm like,
yeah.
Why are you telling him that? And I was like, surely there's only one reason you're telling him. And it's like,
yeah, you're gonna kill him.
But a silly little thing might be a little bit silly from Luthen on his point there. If he was being like, if the ISB were like closing in on him, imagine if they bugged him and he was like, where are you taking me?
Yeah.
He's like, Yavin. He'd have given away the rebel base.
Yeah, that was a risky move.
But obviously he's killed him. But...
yeah. Because even if he would have killed him, if he had a bug on him, that's not gonna.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a bit risky from Luthen, but
I think Luthen probably suspected that he didn't have a bug on him for the amount of information that he told him about what they were hiding. So maybe Luthen is cleverer than we think.
But why would you tell him that? Why wouldn't you just be like...
I know, you could be like...
Where are you taking me?
Alderaan. Somewhere completely different. So obviously we see Lonnie has been killed on the bench. We do see a little Tukar, but I reckon it's a loaf cat Tukar that goes up to him. Obviously, if you guys don't know what a loaf cat is, they're in Rebels, they're in Ahsoka, they're in The Mandalorian. They're really cute little Star Wars cats. So it goes up to sniff him because he's clearly going for his little morning walk. But someone pointed out that on his collar, if you look really closely, it says Pix, and it was after basically one in the visual effects department lost their dog, and he was called Pix. So I thought that was quite cute how they'd added in that little thing. Anyway, so Luthen obviously meets back with Clea. Obviously tells her all the information that he's found out from Lonnie. She says Gorman, Scarif, Kyber, Krennic, Ursa. So clearly these are all the main things that the rebellion have discovered and
or what Lonnie's discovered.
Yeah. Big news. So then obviously Luthen goes back to his shop because he's clearly found out that Dedra's on to a secret mission for Coruscant. He knows they're going to be after him. So he starts melting away his radio switchboard. Yeah. So it's like that thing that Clea's been using to listen out. So you see him like pouring this sort of silver acid liquid on it.
He's like,
And then all of a sudden, you get a ding at the door while he's doing that, and he's like, oh. He has to like sort of
leave it
there. Go answer the door. It's like, hello, and it's none other than Dedra Mira.
Dun, dun, dun.
Da, da, da. She's alone by the looks of it. So he's like, oh, this is weird. She comes in, she introduces herself, she has a look around, and then he exclaims that a couple of artifacts have questionable authenticity.
They have a bit of a sort of a jokey sort of
Yeah.
banterish, being like,
I think they both sort of know what's going on, but they've never communicated before, so this is very like awkward.
They're playing it very like you don't know what I know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you know.
Yeah. So he shows her a Natolan bleeder blade. So
I think I've got a picture of it. No.
Basically, it's like this type of knife. And Natolans are basically Kit Fisto's species.
Mm-hmm.
So he's showing her that, and like, oh, look at this artifact that I've got. Yeah, I've got plenty around here. Some of them, you know, they might not be authentic, but I think the rest of them are, sort of thing.
I think he says there's only 2 things of questionable origin or something.
Yeah. So then she's like, I've got something for you as well. And he's like, okay.
Oh, she says she's got something stunning to show.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yep. Pulls out a weathered Imperial Starpath unit. Now, if you guys don't remember what this is from season 1 when they were on Barracks, him and Andor.
Barracks?
Ferrix, that was it.
Barracks? What's that? I ain't heard of this planet before.
Sorry. Basically, him and Andor were there, and this basically got left behind, but clearly the Imperials got hold of it, and then she's kept it this whole time, trying to find Axis, right?
Mm-hmm. This is what started off the Andor journey.
Yeah. And it's definitely a lot bashed up compared to what it was when we saw it the first time.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh no, she's on to me. And then all of a sudden she notices the smoke coming from like the outback of the store. So she looks, and then she's like, oh, no, he's destroying like evidence. And then all of a sudden he like turns around, and then she points the blaster at him. She's like, turn around. And all of a sudden,
stunned.
Yeah. And then basically this blade that he showed her, he's stabbed himself with it. And then you just see his hand come out with this blade, and it's got blood on it, and he drops it and he falls to the ground, and she's like, oh, no.
Tactical units, move in.
I need more information off of him. She's like, keep him alive. So all these like, I guess medical Imperial people.
Those are tactical units all like swarming, don't they? Because she's like, the place is surrounded.
Yeah. So they take him and try and like keep him alive.
Yeah.
They put like breathing things on him. And yeah.
He gets loaded up into the back of this like transporter.
Yeah, it's like a medical transport sort of thing.
An ambulance in Star Wars.
Yeah, essentially. Then,
but there is also that. Also, sorry, I just want to mention,
right.
As I mentioned, once they've sort of realised who they like, they're not playing anymore. Luthen's like, there's a galaxy out there waiting to disgust you. I was like,
oh yeah,
what a line.
They have a bit of like a
to and fro, like, oh, I was like, oh, I love that line though. There's a galaxy out there waiting to disgust you. Oh, love it.
Oh my gosh,
love it.
Bit of beef. We love a bit of drama.
We do.
Then there's a bit of a flashback.
Also, we do also see the CSI Coruscant.
Oh, there we go. There's the knife.
Do you know what? I'm going to create like a funny post pic, like of a CSI series, and put like stormtrooper heads on them, and call it like CSI Coruscant or something.
Yeah. There's been a murder.
And they start like sweeping the place and taking photos. It's like, oh my god.
Yep. So we see this flashback scene. Basically, you're seeing it from the point of view from young Clea. So she's sort of like.
So it just reminds me.
Yeah.
Clea is not in the shop, but she's in the crowd outside the shop, watching them take Luthen in the ambulance. And fly off. So she's not there. And then she goes back to the Andor apartment.
Yeah.
I just remembered because
there we go.
I was like, where is she?
Yep. So in this flashback, we obviously see a younger Luthen. They've done quite a good job on like de-aging him. I can't remember what he's shouting. I think he says like,
"Stop!"
Yeah, make it stop.
So basically, there's some sort of military operation going on here, which is killing the locals and all that. And he's in here being like, make it stop.
Yeah, clearly he doesn't want to be a part of this group. And also you see people wearing the same outfit that they wear in Solo. Like
the Mud Trooper armour.
That sort of armour.
So it's obviously early Imperial days.
Yeah, for sure.
So
there's Luthen. And then you do see him sort of get Clea out of the little like cage that she's in as well.
I don't think she's in a cage.
Because I think he doesn't realise at this moment that anyone's watching him, and then all of a sudden he spots her, and then he's like,
he hears like a noise, and he's like, opens it up.
You're alright.
You're alright.
It sort of keeps going like back and forth to like flashback scenes from here until the end of the episode. But
I think we also then see like Luthen in the hospital.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like on a bed, and he's got like breathing thing or like a respiratory thing keeping him alive, and Dedra's like telling the nurses like he can't die, like
I need him.
This is an ISB operation sort of thing. And then some other ISB people who are actually doing the Axis operation come in, and they're like, we're arresting you, Dedra.
Yeah.
She's like, bloody hell.
Great, okay. Get this over with. Oh yeah, there's little
Clara.
I'm really rubbish
with names. Clara.
Clara.
No, Claire.
Clea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bit like Leia.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how we should remember.
She even looked like Leia.
She does a little bit.
Put a K in front of it.
People keep saying that like she might be Leia, but no, she's definitely
just put a K in front of it. Claire.
Yeah. So we then see Clea heading into the hospital in present time.
And she's got like a bandage on her hand, and she's like, ooh.
Yeah, she's
pretending to be a patient.
In disguise, isn't she? Yeah. We do find out the name of the hospital as well, because it's written on the building.
I was very happy about this.
And it's called Lina So Hospital. Obviously, no one would notice unless you like decoded the Orabash. But like, that's quite cool how they brought something from the High Republic into
the former Chancellor of the High Republic, Lina So.
Lovely.
Lovely.
I don't think they're called lions in High Republic.
I can't remember what they're called.
They're basically lions with 4 eyes.
Yeah.
So obviously we see Clea in the hospital. She obviously comes in with the bandage on her arm. She's got like a thing on her head as well. And then she finds like these lockers, and then she unlocks them. And yeah, with this device, there we go. And then she basically finds some nurse uniform inside one of the lockers. So it's like
It's a really cool locker, by the way, because it was like a
Yeah.
ball, and it turns round and there was
Yeah.
like an outfit in it.
I think that was cool. And also the uniform. Someone pointed out, obviously they're like yellow color, which is very High Republic, and obviously it's Selena Snow Hospital.
It's very cool.
I thought that was cool. Anyway, so yeah, she disguises herself again as a nurse.
And then is it this
because-
flashback when they're walking?
Yeah. So there's another flashback where she's with Luthen again when she's younger. And basically you kind of see that she's more of the leader figure, I think. Like, she's not afraid to bargain with people, that sort of thing. Like,
because they take something
Luthen-
to this woman, don't they?
Yeah. Like, Luthen sort of tries to bargain with her, but Clea's the one that really pushes the deals and stuff.
Like,
So
18.
yeah. So you're not having it then. We can get more from this lady over here.
Yep.
So
And then she says afterwards, because he calls her his daughter.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Am I your daughter?" And he's like, "When it's useful."
Yeah.
It's like,
I
okay.
thought that was good.
So
This
here's
is Clea in her nurse uniform
with the tight little bun.
with a little Padme bun.
When we're watching this and you had your hair,
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
You're like, oh, you got Clea hair today.
it's like doing a Claire cosplay.
I hope that I see a Clea cosplay.
So yeah. So
Maybe this will be the new like Narkina 5 cosplay, you know, like how everyone does the one way out. Maybe people will dress as Lena So Hospital.
that'd be quite funny.
So we see her push this old lady around. A lot of people have been speculating that maybe this is the same species as E.T. because we know they're canon in Star Wars, but it's not. It's different species. I don't know the name of it, but we do see them on Niamos.
We love a bit of
In
Niamos.
Rogue One. So
No, it's not Rogue One. It's Andor, season 1.
oh, season 1. Okay, sorry, I'm getting it all mixed up. Right. But we do see them on Niamos.
Yeah, there she is.
Not her exactly, but like that species. And yeah, I think her feet look kind of funny because it looks like she's wearing little high heels.
I should see like an astromech droid, but it looks like he's got like almost like a see-through head.
Yeah, and that projecting and
A
stuff.
brain scan.
Obviously, like if she's got a patient with her, she looks legitimate on the cameras and stuff. Like she's very clever.
And she keeps like hiding her face and all that.
Yeah. Then basically later on we see her with like a detonator. Oh, I think I've skipped a bit.
Flashback.
There's another flashback where basically she sees some like young people get killed.
So this is a little bit later after the first flashback because their clothes are a little bit better and Luthen's a little bit smarter. And they are doing a deal for like a watch, and she sees a load of people being escorted to like a martyr square where they're going to get shot, and one of them is a kid, and she watches and doesn't look away because she's like, what the hell?
I thought there was more than one kid, but yeah.
Well, she like stares at like.
I mean, you don't really get a good look at them all, but yeah. But I think
because they're accused of shooting a officer or something.
Yeah, but Luthen's sort of like, "Come with me," and then she's like, "No, I want to look and see what these people are all about."
Well, leave it to it then.
Yeah.
Bye.
So she stays there and she watches it happen. Yeah, we see her with like a detonator, but there's another flashback as well where they're on Naboo.
As soon as I saw this, I was like, it's Naboo.
Yeah.
So that could be Lake Como.
Yeah, but we find out that this was filmed in England, but it was a shooting location that they did in the Phantom Menace, but it was in a like deleted scene.
Yeah.
But it looks like the buildings that you would see on
Yeah,
Lake
but I'm
Como,
telling you that like lake and those mountains, that is Lake Como.
Yeah.
100%.
That's probably one of those like digital screens or something.
There's Lake Como. It's
Or, like,
Naboo.
blue screen, I don't know.
Naboo.
Naboo. But yeah, in this flashback, basically her and Luthen are like at an afternoon tea sort of dinner. And basically he has like a detonator in his hand and he's like, I want you to push it. And she's obviously still quite young. She doesn't really know what's happening. And he's like, don't look. Just keep looking at me. So obviously the button gets pressed. And then he's like, you can look now. So he's teaching her, obviously.
Because if you're looking at the explosion before it happens,
then people are going to know that you're the one that's done it.
Yeah.
You're expecting it to happen. Whereas if you don't react straight away and react after the noise, it's like, it's more natural how anyone else would usually react. And then you sort of see, like, her when she's in the hospital, she's looking away from the cameras and stuff. Like, if you were guilty, you would be looking up at the ceiling thinking, oh, where's all the cameras located? You know, covering your face.
Oh, don't look at me.
But she's so clever because Luthen's taught her these little things. It's like, this is what makes you look innocent. Because ultimately, the Empire are going to end up getting you.
Yeah.
But also, this scene where they're on Naboo is very brave, I think, because this is Palpatine's homeworld. And he's the Chancellor of the bloody... He's the Emperor.
I know, but I don't know how much he's actually going to care about Naboo. When he was Emperor, like, he just was like, nah, don't care.
I know, but like, I mean, he could have family there, I suppose. I know he's quite old, but...
I don't think that matters. He's there on Naboo.
Naboo is beautiful. I don't think he would want anything bad.
And the bomb goes off, and it's on this military
little bridge
escort.
Yeah,
it's quite cool.
But I think it's a bit of a bold move from Luthen, to be honest. But yeah. Anyway, it's a flashback. It happened, and she's obviously there again with the detonator in this hospital. So
she presses it.
She pushes it. And then, basically, like, one of the lower floors, there's an explosion.
No, it's the transports. She's, like, put bombs on some of the ambulances, as we call them. And, like, I think 4 or 5 blow up.
Yeah, that was it.
And then,
I remember her looking out the window.
Yeah, and you see, like,
but yeah.
I think 4 of them blow up. But it's the ambulances.
So ain't no one
ships, but like we're calling them the ambulances because there's what's been fused.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then obviously everyone's like left that floor because they're going down towards where the explosion was, and they're like evacuating the building. So then obviously there's some ISB people that she runs into. So one of them being the stormtrooper, and then there's
she blasts this stormtrooper right in the head,
right in the mush. And then there's a guard as well
outside Luthen. That she kills. Yep.
So she kills him, and then she gets to Luthen.
So you can see him with his little like breathing.
Yep.
Machine.
Similar sort of thing to like when Grogu had that medical thing around him. So obviously she's gonna have to turn off his life support. So she unhooks. You can tell it's not like easy for her, but also she's got to be quick about it. So you can see, like, she does have some tears. She sort of kisses him on his forehead.
Because it's like her dad. This is like her father
I
figure.
mean, even though they're not related, she spent so much time, like, she basically grew up with this guy.
And he gave everything for the rebellion.
They've done so many missions together, like... Yeah.
They basically created the rebellion.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that scene there where she's like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if I'm right, the episode just zooms out.
And you can see the blinking of the lights as well. So the episode starts with the blinking of the lights on the table in the shop. And then...
But it's like, I love how this episode ends with him just there. And it's like, the camera slowly fades. It's not like zoom or like slow. It's like really prolonged, slow. So, yeah.
R.I.P. Luke.
Yeah. I like Luthen. I thought he was great.
He was good.
I
didn't think he would last until Rogue One. Cause
we all knew that. We all knew that.
Because he was such a big character for the rebellion, and I think, you know, if he was in Rogue One, then, you know, but because he wasn't, and he was such a big part in it, we sort of knew that he would go before the finale. But...
So, going on to episode 11. Can I just say, by the way, I love the opening shot of this episode.
Ooh.
Like, the way the camera's like low.
It's almost like you're an injured person on the floor there and you're just waking up from...
But it's just an interesting shot to start with. Like, you don't normally start an episode with, like, the direct aftermath of something that's happened.
No.
So, like, we literally see this stormtrooper get shot. And then we're starting episode 11 on that body.
Yeah.
You can see the blast mark here. But you can see, like, more stormtroopers on the other side. And obviously, the place has been properly locked down with ISB taking over. But I just thought it was a really interesting shot. Like, you don't often see shots where the camera, like, lingers. Where the camera, like, lingers on a body for a while.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Also, I just realised, like, symmetry. Episode 10 ends with Luthen, the, like, start of the rebellion, dead on the table. Episode 11 starts with a dead stormtrooper in a corridor.
Again,
and it's like the death of Luthen is the start of the death of the Empire, because he starts this whole process. You see what I mean?
There's a lot of, like, good cinematography that, you know, to a blind eye you wouldn't necessarily
but you see what I mean?
know. But when you actually think about
when you think of it like
the
that,
symbolism of it.
So Luthen, who started the rebellion, like, ends episode 10 dead on the table. Episode 11 starts with a stormtrooper, the symbol of the Empire, dead in the corridor, which is like the start of the end for the Empire. Really cool, isn't it?
That is cool.
So, sorry.
That's all right.
No. Continue.
I think there's a scene as well, which I haven't got notes for, but there's, like, basically the boss of the hospital, and he's not happy at all. So
the ISB agents that are in charge of the Axis case,
they're like, this is a crime scene, and he's like, I still have to run my hospital.
And they're like, would you rather be arrested? And he's like, no.
Yeah.
Do what you want. So
do what you want then. So we have Dedra in interrogation, and Krennic basically shuts off the, like, recording thing, because what he's about to talk to her about, he doesn't want on record at all.
So he turns off the mic and he turns off the camera.
And then you see her sort of, like, be a bit confused.
Like she hears it, like, she knows.
Yeah. I mean, she's done these interrogations many times.
I think she can also see him as well, by the way. Like,
yeah, and I mean, she interrogated Cyril in season 1, so like
in that room,
she would know all the things,
mm-hmm.
all the tools, all the noises, all of that. So basically, Krennic goes in there and he says, "What single thing could bring me to this godforsaken basement?" And then she's sort of like, Death Star. And then
where he's like, say it.
Yes,
say
that's it.
She's like,
Death Star. So, clearly she knows a little bit about what they've got going on, him and Tarkin. So he obviously doesn't approve that she went on looking for Axis by herself. He's like, why did you deny orders and you've gone after him by yourself? And he confronts her on how Lonnie had her code cert. So obviously we saw at the beginning of the last episode when Lonnie was like, I've had her code cert for a year now. They're going to be on to me, sort of thing. So he confronts her about it because clearly he's found out. And she's like, really? Young? You think I'd give my code cert to him? So, clearly he's stolen it, and now Krennic knows that he was, an
and Krennic
informant.
also mentions about the leaked info, or how did she come to find out about Axis or whatever.
Yeah.
And she reveals how, like, someone on Jeddah revealed how a man with antiques or something.
Yeah. So basically on her code cert, she had Gorman mining schedules, assessments, research journals to the lab where Galen Urso works, Jeddah work printouts.
She was being nosy.
Basically a bunch of info on the Death Star.
She'd been sent
so
emails that she shouldn't have actually opened and looked.
Yes.
So someone had forwarded on.
Someone messed up. But he reveals that Supervisor Young spent 3 hours logged into her account. So he knew a lot that he shouldn't have, and she shouldn't have, because, she's done all this behind their back, trying to get information on Axis, but she's also accessed information she shouldn't have. So Krennic is not happy at all.
But when he says he's been into your account for 3 hours, he's like stood directly behind her, and he's like, "Yo, I can't." It's like, oh,
he's really not happy.
He's annoyed.
I think there's a bit where he sort of grabs her as well.
Yeah, and he's like,
yeah, he's not happy with her at all.
No.
We then see Clea in the safe house on Coruscant, and she basically finds. Oh, have I missed a bit? There's a bit where they look at the CCTV, but obviously Clea's gone.
So she's in the house, and she bashes down the wall, and she finds this old communication device
sort of thing. Yeah.
But we also see the ISB.
They're looking into the CCTV of the hospital, and they can see that she's not directly looking at the cameras.
And then they sort of find this, they're trying to find Claire.
And they're like, is that her there? Why is she not looking?
Yeah. And then the ISB guy, if I remember right, goes to Dedra.
Yeah.
And is like, give me all your info on help me here.
Yeah.
So she says about they were using this code or whatever, look for these signals or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it is the other way around, because I know that we see Claire using the device and the lit light flashes.
I mean, I think it's just to see
that
obviously Claire's not at the hospital anymore. She's got out.
Yeah. But she that fades into that.
Yeah.
Of the U-Wing and the Yavin base.
Yavin. We love a bit of Yavin.
And do a bit of Yavin.
We've got Blue Squadron there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we see Andor, Melshi, and K2SO playing a game of Rianza.
Rianza.
It
was a game created for the show, I believe.
Yes.
So but it's basically dominoes and liar's dice.
Yeah.
Combined.
Yeah. So they're playing that game, and then I believe it's...
The device goes off, I think.
Yeah, and it's... What's his name? Draven?
No, Wilman would have been the one.
Wilman. He comes in and basically asks for them that they've received, like... Oh, yeah, that was it. So he brings in, like, the machine, doesn't he? And he's like, it's gone off. And they're like, what? What do you mean?
And it's Luthen's device. So they're like, Luthen's in trouble.
Yeah. But obviously it's Clea trying to get hold of them. But obviously she knew how all Luthen's kit worked, so she knew what to do. We then see Krennic basically puts a bounty on Clea. Now, obviously, the reason is because she's obviously murdered Luthen, which they needed for information.
Well, they need to get the information out of her now, because they're like, this was Luthen's assistant.
Yeah. But obviously they can't put it out there that she's a murderer, because then they would have to release info on Luthen, and then that could lead to people...
That means that there's a body and all that.
Yeah, that could lead to people looking into him and what his involvement with the Empire is and stuff like that. And obviously, you know, Dedra, from looking for him, has ended up finding out a lot more information than she should have, and they didn't want anyone else finding out about the Emperor's secret operations. So basically...
Really interestingly, though, I just realised something as well.
Yeah.
I believe Luthen and Clea is the reason for the tension in Rogue One between Tarkin and Krennic, because if you remember, they do the test on Jeddah, and be like, after the test demonstration, Tarkin says to Krennic, I will be taking over the Death Star. And he was like, this was my achievement, not yours. We stand here on my achievement, not yours.
Yep.
But then Tarkin says the leakage or the leak or the issue on Edu has caused doubts in the Emperor or something like that. So this could be the reason that... So Clea and Luthen could technically, by the sound of it, be the reason why Tarkin takes over the Death Star project from Krennic, who's like had this the whole time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is really interesting now. I want to watch Rogue One again now and be like, oh, this...
We gotta watch it.
That's why.
We gotta watch it.
Yeah. Because
I feel like I'll appreciate it a lot more now that I know a bit more of the backstory. Do you know what I mean? Because I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
So obviously, because they can't reveal Luthen, she's killed him. You know. So Partias comes up with this.
What was his name?
Partias.
I thought you said party ass then. I was like, great, no, it's party gas.
Party gas. You know, I'm so bad with names.
Party ass.
Whatever his name is. Whatever his name is, comes up with the idea, basically saying that she has a disease, because basically then the rebels won't want to work with her, because they'll be like, oh my god, she's got this contagious disease. We don't want to work with her.
No, that's not the reason at all. Because they want her found So they
Yeah.
put out that she is infected with this infectious disease, so that the people of Coruscant, if they see her, they're like, "Oh my god, there she is! I don't want to touch her.
Yeah.
Don't want to help her, whatever." And like, if anyone sees her,
And
they're
then
going to
they'll just
report
turn
her.
in, yeah.
Very clever.
But also, if the rebels fall for that, then they won't.
It's
have a
not for the
rebel.
rebels. It's for the locals.
But the locals might be rebels.
But they ain't. They got bloody cats and dogs to walk.
Yeah. Then we see Cassian, K2, and Melshi. They're on their way to the safe house to get Claire. So they're in the ship, flying to Coruscant.
And K2's like, "Do you want to know how many orders we've disobeyed so far?" "No, I don't." 17. Because I think he said, like, it's like the line in Rogue One where he's like, "Do you want to know what are the odds of us surviving?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "High." It's really high. Or something like, or chances of dying or something.
Oh,
yeah.
I love K2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, so forget that last picture. But this is,
Yeah.
we then cut to Luthen's office, not office, but like shop.
I was looking at this and I was thinking, you didn't do a very good job. I know obviously Dedra kind of interrupted, but like there's still a lot of the plugs that are still working.
I know, but the whole machine is very much destroyed. Like, you can't use it again. But anyway, you also do see as well that the hangar where his ship is behind the shop, which is actually quite cool. Yeah, very cool, very nice. But we see the like ISB being like, it's actually quite clever how he did it. He used like Imperial signals to like cover it up or something. But then they, while they're trying to work the machine out, they realise the red light is going, and Claire is obviously using it to try and reach out to Cassian and that. So it's like, oh, they know where she is.
Oh no.
We get a nice shot of the U-wing coming into Coruscant, looking.
So this is Andor.
Yep.
And Melshi and K2.
And Melshi's like, wow. Like, and K2's like, Melshi's never seen Coruscant. And then he goes on about how he was in a parade with 2,000 K2 droids or something, and the Emperor was there. And Cassian's like, sorry, I missed it.
Oh.
So yeah, here you can see them like CSI, Coruscant doing their thing.
Law and Order. So here's Andor and Melshi about to go into the apartment. But as they're sort of on their way up, obviously K2SO, he's waiting in the ship. And then Andor sort of like, because he's got this thing in his ear where he can keep contact with K2SO from the ship. And they're trying to talk to each other, but he's like, oh, I can't hear him. He's not responding. So clearly their comms are being jammed from something.
And he notices K2SO notices the lander thing coming in, filled with the Imperial troops.
Imperials without helmets.
Yeah, but
the ISB.
Yes.
So
and we also see as well. We see Andor with Claire.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Yavin.
Luthen's dead.
Oh yeah.
And he's then like trying to tell her to come to Yavin.
And she's like, Yavin, what bitter ending.
Yeah.
Because clearly, like,
everyone there on Yavin doesn't like.
Yeah.
Or thinks Luthen is bad and not good. And all that.
Yeah.
But they're wrong.
So obviously we see all the ISB going into the building. They're using these readers as well to detect the signal.
And they work out it's in the 26th or 27th floor.
So you got to go up a long way.
Can I just say as well, I said it to you when we watched it, but that device looks like the device that they use in Ghostbusters.
It does.
You know, the like a scanner one.
So obviously they're going in the building, and obviously because K2SO can't hear Cassian on the comm, so he goes in the building as well because he's like, I've got to go after him.
Yeah. So here's Cassian's like, come with me.
Yeah.
Come with me. Like,
come with me to Yavin.
Because she tells him like,
his Imperial's coming.
What was it? Because she tells him like, Scarif, Kyber, Urso, Galen Urso. Yeah. That's the first time, obviously, Cassian hears Galen Urso.
Like, what?
Well, no, he doesn't really react, but it's in Rogue One when he hears it again that he's like, Galen Urso.
We got to watch Rogue One again now.
We do.
So obviously, K2SO's on his way up. Here he is. And there's like...
There's a guard outside.
Yeah,
he's like, USB. You with us? And he's just like, no. Whacks him.
Yep. And then obviously they hear the ISB like in the hallway.
Mm-hmm. And I think it ends like there, because then episode 12 picks up with them in the apartment getting ready to sort of go.
Mm-hmm.
And they finally get to the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, and then Melshi goes to see what's going on.
Yep. And he's like, oh my gosh.
and then he like runs back inside.
Yeah.
And he's like, he goes to shut the door, and Cassian's like, no, keep it open because we can like use it.
We can hear him. We see K2SO kicking the guards. There's also a point where there's like this sort of smoke grenade that goes off.
You mean that?
Yeah. Yeah, you got a picture.
So like a stun grenade.
Yeah. So basically, like, all Andor can see is like white for a while, and then
Claire hits her head.
Oh yeah, she hits her head, so she can't.
So she's like out of it.
And then Melshi, he sort of dodged this one, so he can see a lot sooner than Andor can. So he's sort of blasting away.
He takes out a guard, I think, that comes around the corner, I think.
Yeah. And then obviously K2SO comes along. He picks up the like ISB commander and uses him as like a shield. But like clearly K2SO's armor is heavy enough to
It's just insulting bullets. For the ISB.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty terrifying as well when he's like walking towards the other guy and the other guy's brutal. Just shooting. He's just like, yeah. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. Because it's like the other guy's shooting one of his own sort of thing, even though he's already dead. But like,
that's crazy. K2SO is these K2 droids. I have like a newfound like respect for them.
Maybe we'll get like a little K2SO figure.
They're just like so tough.
Yeah.
Unless you've got like a lightsaber.
Yeah, literally. Because like even in Jedi Fallen Order, they're quite tricky to beat, but also you're a Jedi, so they are beatable. But it takes quite a few hits. But you know, these people in like the Gorman Massacre and stuff, they had no chance against these. They didn't even have weapons after them.
Nope.
So there you go.
And then he's a
good one to have on your
side. And then he comes around the corner.
Yep.
And it's almost like that scene in Rogue One where he's like, he doesn't say it, but he's almost like, you are saved.
Yeah. It's like a relief.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, thank God you're here. So yeah. So all the ISB. So then they end up leaving the building.
Mm-hmm.
You see this scene with Mon Mothma, and she's communicating with Saul Guerrera.
I think Bale's there as well.
Yeah. I don't remember what he says to her in this scene.
He's gone a bit loopy.
Yeah.
Because she's like
Rhydonium.
He's like, you keep sending me these spies. or whatever. Like,
But they're not.
and they're like, so we're not the enemy. Like, the Empire is. And then he's like, you don't know where I am or something. And she's like, we know you're on Jeddah.
Yeah.
And he's like, you don't know where I am. And yeah, you can clearly see that these, like, his version of the rebel, like his rebels are extremists and a lot different to the actual rebels.
I think it's the side effects of the Rhydonian.
He's gone a bit nuts.
Yeah.
So
He's crazy.
crazy.
I mean, he's crazy. Anyway.
Lies. Deception.
We also see Admiral Radis on Yavin.
So I put it. I've got the photos wrong for that. There he is.
There he is. So he's a Mon Calamari species. He looks like
Akbar.
Akbar. Yeah,
But he's like blue.
I was gonna say it's a trap.
But he's blue.
But he's a blue one.
And this is Draven.
Yes.
And they're noticing that the X-Wing is coming in.
Yes.
And they're like, Thingy would have shot him down if he was here. But that's the leader of Blue Squadron from Rogue One.
Yeah.
Let me see. Gets named mentioned. Sorry.
So, yeah, Admiral Radis is on Yavin.
We then see the U-Wing coming.
Yep. So they land. And then obviously realise that it's Andor and his crew on the ship.
But he's like, she's hurt.
Yeah.
She's hurt. She needs medical attention.
I really don't get why they're all like putting a bastard at them.
Because they don't know who's come back. They don't know how many people Cassian's brought or whatever. And it's like,
he just got Clea.
They don't trust him.
But obviously they take Clea and, you know, make sure she's alright because she definitely got knocked out. And then basically Draven takes Cassian to this like meeting. So we have Admiral Radis.
Mm-hmm.
We have Bail Organa, Mon Mothma, Draven and Cassian, obviously. Then we have Noah Jebel from the planet. What?
It's just a funny name.
Noah Jebel from Uter? Planet Uter, I think. And then we have Tinra Pamlo. I don't know why they've all got these weird names. I can't pronounce them for the life of me. Anyway, Tinra Pamlo is from Taris, and she's the lady in the like sort of light coloured dress. Yeah. And she's got a bit of an attitude, I think. I mean, all of them have a bit of an attitude towards Cassian, other than Mon Mothma, because she's the one that's like, this guy saved me. I'm willing to hear what he has to say.
Also, in saying that, Radis as well, because Radis is like a general.
Yeah.
Like, he's got that war mind.
Mm.
He's like, what is this planet? Like, what is this super weapon? Like,
yeah. He's like, more interested in like
let's
what
hear,
they're
let's
actually
hear it.
Doing, you know.
So he's sort of got like Radis and Mon, and Bale's like, we can't take this information Luthen is given by. Like,
they're like,
we can't trust
not
it
to be trusted.
And then
they basically say like, when was the last time you even saw Luthen? And then Andor goes a year ago, and they're like, oh, that was so long ago. And he's like, but it was when he had me rescue Mon Mothma from the Senate building. And then they're like...
And he's like looking at Bale, and Bale was like, oh my God, I messed up there, didn't I?
Yeah. That was a good deed he did, you know?
Yeah. And it was that like look that Diego Luna gives as well, where he's like,
yeah,
he sent me to save Mon Mothma.
Not you.
Like...
And
Mon's just like, he did save me.
Yeah. I think she's very thankful.
But then they're like, you're restricted to base. You're like, you're not allowed to leave.
Yeah.
But he's like, can I go to the infirmary first to see Claire?
Yeah.
And Mon Mothma straight away is
like, granted.
Go.
Yeah. Yep.
So he trusts
because she knows that like everyone else is just going, no, you can't go there. But she trusts Andor. Like, he literally saved her life. after name dropping Palpatine in the Senate. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's a big thing that she did.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Luthen and Andor that helped her in that situation, so she owes her life to them.
And Claire.
Yeah.
So.
But obviously Claire's in this room, so
Yeah.
everyone's just like against.
And it is very cool as well how Genevieve has now got the like Mon short cut hair.
Yeah. That's cool. So we see Vel and Cassian, and they're having a toast. They toast to people that obviously like lost their lives in the.
It's basically like
the
all the
series.
rebels. Like they have the people from the Ardani heist.
Yeah.
She's like your mum.
Like, yeah. So they say Gorn, Nemik, Tarn, Cinta, and then she goes your mother, which is obviously Marva. And then she says the Danis from Aldani.
It's like the Gormans.
Which someone pointed out in Skeleton Crew, there's a bit where the Aldanis get mentioned. And,
the planet gets mentioned.
Yeah, the planet. And what was that robot's name?
SM-33.
That was it. SM-33 is like, Aldani, that was a bombed planet, you know?
No, it was a bog. A bog swampland or something.
Yeah. So basically, clearly after the events of Andor, the Imperials went there and just like destroyed that planet.
Yep.
So R.I.P. to the Danis.
And she also says as well, like Cassian says, I've heard people say they were there, and Val's like, I'd have killed anyone who said they were, like, because they weren't.
Yeah.
So.
We then see basically a voiceover reading from Nemik from his manifesto. So I've done a little bit of a quote, and it says the frontier of the rebellion is everywhere. But basically it's a long speech where he's talking about like how the rebels are everywhere. You know, you're never gonna stop them. Yeah.
And Partagas is listening to this.
Yeah, so he's listening to this like recording that Nemik did, and he's just completely shaken by it. Like, look at his face.
I think he knows what's about to come, to be fair.
He's just like, there's no stopping it, is there? And there's like another Imperial that comes in, and he literally says to him, it just keeps spreading, doesn't it? So clearly he doesn't think he can stop this spreading of the
his failure
rebellion.
is now being looked at.
Yeah.
And because also as well, he's in the communication center when the group are trying to get the Claire, and he's hearing that they've lost communication, they're getting wiped out. So he calls for more backup for troops, but because he put this thing out saying there's an infected person, too many people are looking for Claire as an infected person, and they're not able to help this mission. So it's like, oh dear, you failed. And so he pulls out a blaster.
So that is the last of Partagas.
Partagas.
R.I.P. to Partagas.
I thought this was a really cool scene as well.
Yeah.
So I don't think you hear the blaster, but you see these stormtroopers No, I think you do hear it. So you see these stormtroopers, and I can't remember this guy's name. He's like standing in front of the door, and then you hear the and they go to react. It's like, no, don't react. Yeah.
Okay. So then we see Vel and Claire, and Vel's sort of looking after her because after she left Andor after their little toast. Basically, like, she starts walking out, and then she sees Clea's walked all this way from where she was resting, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you're all right." She's like, "Come with me." So then she sort of like takes her in.
Just raining.
Yeah. Basically, like, Mon Mothma, because obviously Val has been working for Mon Mothma. You know, she gets her Mon Mothma.
Val is Mon Mothma's cousin.
Well, yeah, but
she's been working
she
for
helps
Luthen.
her.
She's been working for Luthen.
Okay. Well, Mon Mothma basically says to her, "Look, if you can work out for me if this intel is truthful, because I'm the only one that's letting Andor say that this is true, and everyone else is saying that it's lies." So she's like, basically, talk to Clea, see her side of the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So clearly, Val finds out that all of the stuff that Andor's been saying is 100% true with Clea as well, because she would have never left Coruscant unless it was real intel.
Mm-hmm.
So then obviously Mon Mothma's like, look, this is further proof. They've both come back saying the same story. Like, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So then Mothma gives Cassian the green light, basically, to go to meet Vic on Kafrene.
Well, basically, they've got word that there is someone on Kafrene who will only speak to Cassian about something big that's going on with the Empire, and like he will only speak to Cassian. So Draven sort of, and they give him the like all clear, like go ahead. Mm-hmm. So that's obviously what we see in Rogue One on the rings of Kafrene.
We then see Andor having dreams of his sister.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly he still thinks about her a lot, even though she's not around anymore. Mm-hmm. We then see K2SO like sort of poking him.
Wakes him up.
And he's like, humans are a weird species or something. I can't remember what he says. And then Bail Organa turns up. And I'm pretty sure K2SO says like, "Oh, it's the senator that you don't like."
Oh, the man the man you don't like is here.
Yeah. And I'm like, great, K2, just dropping him in it. But Bail Organa's actually really nice to him at this point. You know, because obviously everyone else has heard Clea's side of the story as well. And he's like, well, clearly this is trustworthy intel, you know. Mm-hmm. You've been okay to go to Kafrene. I'm going to like send you a good send-off before you go there, sort of thing. So Bail Organa's like, basically, when you go to Kafrene, can you report to Draven anything that you find out? Mm-hmm. And then he tells him, "May the Force be with you."
Yeah.
Which I think it's the first time we've heard "May the Force be with you" in this series.
I think it is.
So.
May the Force be with you.
Yeah.
Cheers, Belle.
With you, Belle, mate. We then
get a bit of a montage.
We end the episode on some big drops. So
we see Cassian load up his blaster.
Yeah, he's getting his jacket on, and he's literally looking like he's walked off the set of Rogue One, because clearly he's walking onto the set of Rogue One after this episode. So yeah, so he's got his jacket on, he's got his blaster loaded, and we see him sort of like walking along, like
we see Melshi
video style, you know.
We see Melshi like doing like a running exercise with some other rebels. One of them we see in Rogue One.
Yep. And then we see Mon Mothma's partner in the car, and he's sat with Runai because her husband got captured by the Empire. So she's
well, we don't know that. We don't.
Potentially got captured by the Empire. So she's on the table. And clearly Mon Mothma's elsewhere, so he's like...
But he looks absolutely deflated, and
But
they're
we know that
drinking on the alcohol.
she loves a bit of Chardonnay, that lady. Because clearly at the party she was like, "Here you go, Mon Mothma, have another one."
And she's holding a bottle in her hand.
So clearly these people have been getting drunk and
getting together.
I don't think Mon Mothma really wanted to be with him anyway, so...
No, but still, it's like he misses her.
She's not gonna be happy if she finds out. Also, Dead Dramiro's in Narkina 5. Everyone, my gosh. I know this is not much of a spoiler anymore because it's been out for a few weeks, but I can't believe that.
Wait for all the people to do Dedra, Narkina 5, One Way Out.
I know, yeah. Totally.
She got screwed by the Empire.
But, like, I mean, I know that Krennic was very mad at her, but, like, Narkina 5. And can you imagine, because obviously Andor and his group ended up escaping. Could you imagine how much they had to put extra security in because of that?
Mm-hmm.
So she has no way of getting out.
Well, we think it's Narkina 5. It's not confirmed, but like the idea of it is it's Narkina 5. It's the same bed. It's the same outfit. Like,
yeah. There we go. And we see her like sort of getting upset as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because the lights go off and
she's like, oh.
She's just like, what have I done? Oh.
My cereal.
She ain't got her cereal. He ain't got a cereal. And she don't work for the Empire anymore. Like, she's got no life at all. She's just stuck in a prison.
Mm-hmm. We got Cassian
all
walking
because
across.
She's opened an email.
Yeah. But she was being nosy. She was being too... She
all
wanted too much praise.
To get and see Luther.
Yeah.
We do see more clips of Diego Luna in his jacket. We see
because he looks at the he looks at the Force healer and sort of gives her a nod.
Yeah, I forgot that bit. Yeah, he does that, and then we see Saul Guerrero gazing out his window on Jeddah, and then we see Krennic looking at the Death Star being built.
Almost done.
Yep.
Also, we do see him mention in the like meeting earlier that he's got to go to Scarif for a meeting. So
that is quite cool, though. Like how it shows like Saul Guerrero looking out a window, then Krennic looking out his window, and it's like
they're about to meet technically.
And then we go to Mina Rao, and we see B2MO. With the other little droid. So he's still around, guys. He didn't get destroyed because we were thinking that, weren't we? Like,
what happened
after they escaped Mina Rao?
They just left him there.
They left the bloody droid. That droid was like Andor's best mate in the first season, and now he's
it breaks my heart a little bit because I think of it as like a little pet. And they've left him.
They've abandoned him, and now he's got K2SO as his buddy.
But
to be fair, I'd rather have K2SO as well.
True, but then also we now know who's also looking after him.
Which we see
Mama Bix.
Bix is a mama, and that is why she left Andor, because she realized
to
the child somewhere safe.
Well, yeah, but she also knew that like if she told Andor, he would leave the rebellion. She was like, he needs to stay. He's too important to the rebellion.
Yeah.
But yeah, we see her walking through the fields
with a little barber.
And then the series and the show ends with her like looking at a sunrise. You know what I mean? But she's there looking at the sunrise. Remember, like Luthen said, he was like, I will never see the sunrise.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's like, oh.
She's finally at peace, I think.
Yeah. Waiting for Cassian to come home.
Well, I don't think she's that bothered.
What do you mean?
Like, she's not sort of like...
That's his kid.
I know.
She is waiting for him to come home, and he never will.
I know.
And she will never know what happened to him.
They'll meet in the afterlife.
Okay.
It's very sad though, but like, I mean, she left him, so. But also, you can't bring up a child when you're on a bloody war base. Do you know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, but she done it so he would stay in the rebels.
Yeah.
If he knew she was pregnant, he'd have gone with her.
Yeah.
But what a way to end.
Yeah. And could you imagine if Brasso had ratted them out as rebels, and then the Imperials would have destroyed that whole base on Mina Ral?
Mm-hmm.
But he was alright. He was a good boy, Brasso. So,
he's a good lad.
And then we have the credits.
Mm-hmm.
And in the credits, the music is like the Andor music, but then it fades into the Star Wars main theme.
John Williams.
So
very good.
Yeah.
And
that's the breakdown.
That is Andor breakdown done. Oh, it's sad that it's over because I did really enjoy this series, and it's like it was such a good story, and like you want them to do more, but you can't because it's like you know what happens next.
We've just got to watch Rogue One, innit?
We've got to go watch Rogue One.
Maybe we'll just rewatch Andor. Because I think the first series I wasn't a fan, but after watching the second series, I definitely am more of a fan than I was before.
Okay, good. Yay! That's basically it. We will finish on Troopers.
Yeah.
Did you want to go first, or shall I?
I can go first. So, there's this video I found on TikTok by someone called Eri, and it's pictures and videos of Padme, and it's like she would have slayed the Met Gala.
Yes.
And I just thought it was really funny because like she definitely would have.
When you see the like outfits at the Met Gala, she would have nailed it.
She would have slayed the Met Gala. There we go.
Everyone being like, "Oh, Padme 2025 dress looking good."
Yeah. I feel like if I ever went to the Met Gala, I'd have to wear one of the Padme outfits. Not that I'm ever going to the Met Gala, but if
maybe
I did,
one day.
If I did, yeah.
So this isn't the actual guide, the video that I found, but it's a company called Volonaut have created their first jet-powered air bike. So it's like a hover bike, right? And it hits like 124 miles an hour. Like it's quick.
Wow.
And the person that they've got to like sort of demonstrate it, they've put in a complete scout gear thing and got him in a forest. And so it looks like the Andor speeder bike.
I love that.
But that's real. That's not fake. I'm like, I want one. Like, look how cool it is.
I'd love to do that.
And I love the fact as well that the guy's in like scout trooper. But it's just so cool that it looks like he's flying around on Andor.
It literally does.
So,
love that.
Yeah, that's the new way to travel, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Get a speeder bike.
Yeah, why not? Live like you're in Star Wars.
Yes. So that is it for today's episode. Again, we know there's a bit of another long one, but 3 episodes to break down is a lot. It is a lot. But that's
the last of the 3 episodes until we get another series.
Yes. So next episode will be Tales of the Underworld. Mm-hmm. We know that's been out for a while, but like I said, we were doing Andor first because it just makes so much more sense. Mm-hmm. So we will do that. And then the episode after that is 150 of the podcast. So
we got to try and get a guest.
We're going to try and get some guests on for that if we can.
Yeah.
But yeah, we hope you've enjoyed it, and we will see you on the next episode.